Strength, no weakness.
Are you thinking of a Grenadian Christmas but unable to travel? Well, we've got the next best thing to being home for Christmas with the My Grenada box, specially packaged with lots of Grenadian goodies to help remind you of the taste of home. Having a My Grenada box is easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit our website at mygrenadabox.com. Click to make your purchase and voila! In just a few days, it's at your doorstep. My Grenada Box, a taste of Grenadian goodness.
I spend my life away, but this is where I wanna be. My little piece of the ocean is all I need. If it was up to me, I'll never leave.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Nobody can hold me. Nobody control my energy. Nobody can. Come on in. Hi, Geraldine. Good evening, everyone. Come on in. Hi, Miss Mavis. Good night, Doug. How are you? This is one of my favorite songs. The enemy of the scatter. All right. I'm sorry, guys. We have to get to work. It is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Come on in. Hi, Spiceman. Hi, Joan. Hi, Doug. Hi, Mavis. Hi, Mo Franklin. Come on into the room, like and share. Let's have a good Wednesday as we roll into the holiday season. Good evening, everyone. I think my cousin Geraldine was the first one from London to join us. Thank you for joining us. Today, the show will be hosted by two lovely ladies. So we're warming up right now, but if you're just joining us, come on in. We're going to talk about everything, not just immigration. We're going to talk about life and immigration and everything else as you see it. Hey, Barbara Thomas, that's my girl in England as well. Oh my God, this show is international. How you doing, Barbara? Hi, Augusta, Aldith, Christopher. As you come into the room, like and share. Let's have a good show. I love that Grenada box. Who's sending home a Grenada box? Or is it something you send into the United States or you send it home to Grenada? I'm not sure. I'll ask my co-host when she comes on if this is something she's sending into the US or overseas. What a week. Hey, Cicilline. Hey, Hermie. How are you, my love? Thank you. You know, blue is my favorite color. The blue mic, the blue name, the blue nails. I am privately obsessed with blue. Post, guys, let me see where you're watching me from this evening. So if you're watching from Jamaica, Grenada, post and let's see where you're joining us from this evening. I'm going to invite my co-host into the room. Miss Lynn is going to be hosting my Lord. She brighten up the screen.
Oh, Jesus. I was just propping up my tete. Oh, Jesus, what you calling so fast? Oh, Jesus. God.
Wait a minute. I was talking and all of a sudden pop. You just brighten up my screen. How are you, my love?
I'm doing good. I was just propping up my tete to make it look a little higher, but it's okay. It's all right.
Wow. So for those of you that are watching us, the boss is out today, Mr. Junior George, and guess what? He left us in charge. Listen, I know it's Immigration Wednesday. But listen, let's work to get fired, because if you work to get fired, it means you're doing a good job.
I really hope we don't get fired today. Oh,
you're not getting fired at all. So Lynn, tell us a little bit about you for the audience that's watching.
Well,
Um, tell us a little bit about you. Good evening from London. We have so many people. We're gonna come back and say our proper good evenings. But Lynn is joining us today. She's gonna be my co-host. Tell us about you, Lynn.
well, I'm Lynn, better known as Lois JJ, Junior's producer on Ridealong. I guess that's about it. I love being behind the scenes, not in front. So I'm a
Uh-huh.
little nervous, but hey, hey, John.
So
I
so
see everybody chiming in. So
So girls are running the world today. Who run the
mm,
world? Us, myself, and Lynn. And we're going to talk about
yes.
immigration, but we're going to have girls chat too. Hi,
Yeah.
Rachel Charles. Hey, Aldith is watching from St. Thomas,
Hey, wait,
Grenada. Hermes said, Lynn, wait a minute.
Lino. Homie, you should have been here.
So, Lynn, I know you have lots of questions. You've received lots of questions from our audience on immigration, and you're gonna be asking me some of those questions. But before you start asking me those questions, I'm gonna ask you some questions about what it's like working behind the scenes.
Oh Jesus Lord, you caught me. You caught me on this one. It's a lot of hard work. But it's fun.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah, it's a lot of
What's
hard
fun
work.
about it? What's so fun about it?
Bringing people on to tell their stories. Yeah, that's where I come in.
Mm-hmm.
Bring a lot of people to tell this. Some of it is a lot of it's heavy, but but I think it's really good for us in the diaspora to listen to and like, damn,
Mm-hmm.
check ourselves.
So,
So
how do you choose what stories you guys want to put on the platform? I know, like every Wednesday, we know it's immigration. We talk about all things immigration, but you
right.
have 4 other days of the week that you have to fill with information. How do you fill the days with stories, and how do you choose what kind of stories?
Well, you know what? I love things like domestic violence, anything that can bring awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. That's what I love. That's my passion.
Okay.
Child abuse, domestic abuse, someone getting shot, someone being in prison and want to tell their story. That's the kind of thing I want people out there to listen to, especially people in the Caribbean, so that at least
Mm-hmm.
they know what the outside world is about.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about. So yeah, that's just my
Thank
kind
you.
of thing. Yeah.
So if the guests have any special show topics that they want to, they can reach out to you. If say the
Yes.
audience, if somebody is watching and they say,
Yes.
you know what, I don't see Right Along talking about this topic, I'm gonna send it over to Lynn. Is that something they can do?
It's right on. All they gotta do is just inbox Ridealong Live, and we on it.
You hear that, guest? Inbox Right Along Live, and Lynn will make sure your story is told. So today, Lynn, is immigration Wednesday.
Oh
So you and I are
yeah.
going to talk about all things immigration. I like to share my story. Because a lot of times people see me as an immigration lawyer, not realizing that I too have a story where I immigrated from Jamaica back in 1996. My
Mm.
mother had petitioned for me. So my mother left Jamaica when I was 13. And I never saw my mother again until I want to say 18. And by that time, I had already given birth to my daughter. So the next time I saw my mom, I was a mother. And then she filed for me and brought me into the United States. So that's how I came into the United States. And then the rest, like they say, is history. So today is not so much about what my story is, but I think I wanted to share that with you, to all our viewers that are listening, to let you know that we too have a story, even though we're immigration practitioners and we've been here a long time. So sometimes we
Right.
forget about our story.
You know what? I think I should take off my hair because there's too many people telling, they're loving my hair. My daughter said I put on the glasses, I look more smart.
I love it. I love the red hair. That's why I said when I take this out, that's where I'm going is with the red hair. I love
Yes,
that
yes,
red hair.
yes.
I am
I know
feeling.
everyone. Oh, you know what? We got to talk about Saturday night also, Diani.
Oh, what's happening Saturday night?
Oh, Saturday night, we're going to have a nice little Christmas party, private Christmas party, but only 50 people. on the outside that could attend. So I guess if they wants to join in, they could jump in and get a ticket on Eventbrite. And
Where is the link?
even if they come in the lingerie, we don't mind.
If they come in the what?
In the lingerie,
What's a lingerie?
lingerie and whip. Your little lingerie, little strap on. You know what I mean.
So anything you want,
Anything
they want to come in. So
Yes,
on Saturday evening, go to when the Brave Boys say you're burning tonight. I think I'm just gonna go in the behind scenes, Lynn, because you're the star of today's show.
That's
I'm gonna go in the behind the scenes and let you just take over.
No. I'm not a lawyer. If I go and I might say something wrong, and then the FBI might be outside my door. So let's stay right there.
All right. So for those of you that are joining us, thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. If you missed out, we're talking about Saturday evening. The link for the Ride Along end of year celebrations is this Saturday evening at 8 p.m. The link is on the Ride Along page. Unfortunately, it's just a limited amount because we want to also not only celebrate the Ride Along crew, but also celebrate those of you that have supported us over the year. So Lynn, they can find that, the link, they can find that on the Ride Along page.
Ride Along page, Ride Along support group, I think. It should be
if
there.
you just go to the Ride Along page, you can find it.
Yeah, Richard says, "Wow, I wonder what's the wow." What's the wow? The wow, Richard Charles.
I think it's the wig. It's the wig. All right, it's 6:12. It's 6:12. We talked about the party. The party is Saturday evening. Dress to impress. We're having DJs. Anything else you want to tell us about the party? I think we're having raffles. We're raffling Amazon gift cards.
Yes, and I think that if I won, it's just only me though. If I win, I'll be getting an 80-inch TV. So I guess if anybody wants to win something, a bigger prize, they will have to grab on their ticket, right?
Okay.
You never know. There's the link. Mo put the link in there. So there it is, right there.
So there's a link for the Ride Along party on Wednesday evening. I'm sorry, on Saturday evening at 8 p.m. on Zoom. And it's not 8 o'clock Caribbean time. It's not 8 o'clock Black people time. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Caribbean people never on time.
All right. So we should have said it's 7 p.m. then and have them join at 7.
Well, anybody could tell you when they said 8 o'clock party, 10 o'clock party, people come 11, 12, 1. So
that's me. That used to be me too. I just show up when I'm ready.
Right.
But if you come late, you're gonna miss the raffle because we're having raffles very early. We're having raffles and things
bingo.
of that sort. When they still want to talk about the wiggly on your head?
Oh no, I could easily take it off. Let's just ignore that with the wig.
So if you have to work until 10, Mavis Joseph still join us. So all right, let's talk about immigration and what's going on in immigration and we'll smile through this you can keep commenting on Lynn's here. She's going to be here for the entire show with me today. So
exactly. So we're just going to ignore that part. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're ready.
All right. So what's going on in my world? I feel like I'm on top 5. What's going on in the world of immigration, not what's going on in my world. What's going on in the world of immigration? We're proud to say that USCIS, the agency that handles all your immigration application, guys, they have fully reopened. They're conducting interviews. You cannot bring anybody with you to the interview, but you can certainly only bring yourself, or if it's you and your spouse, no family members. Because of COVID-19, a lot of people are not allowed into the room. All right. So keep that in mind. So because of COVID-19, you can only bring those people that are on the application. Make sure you still have your documents. You can only show up 15 minutes before your interview time. So if you have fingerprints, if you have a naturalization interview, if you have an adjustment of status interview, make sure you can only enter the building 15 minutes before the time that's on your interview application.
Right. Nice.
All right. So I've been kind of busy. I've been in Baltimore to hearings. I've done naturalization interviews here in Tampa. And, I'm proud to say the service is handling COVID really, really, really well. Um, Mavis Joseph, congratulations to your daughter. She went to her naturalization interview and passed. Any of you, if you've gone to the service since they've reopened during COVID, post your comments. Hi, Kibby. Post your comments and let's know what the experience was like. Talk to us about the experience that, how did you walk in? How were you treated? Especially if they approve your documents already. If they haven't approved your documents, then, don't say anything. But if you've gone to an interview during COVID, or after COVID, let's put your information down and tell us how it went. Mavis Joseph, way to go on your daughter passing her naturalization quiz, her naturalization interview. Now, next for her will be swearing in as a United States citizen. Congratulations to her. Lynn, you want us to talk about DACA a little bit?
Yes. I think we should.
What do you want to know about DACA?
Well, I know a few people that went to school but never, so I think they'll be happy to hear that, DACA is back. And what about DAPA? I think I read something about DAPA. Is that still in or out?
I haven't looked up what's going on with DAPA yet, distinguished from DACA. I can do a little follow up and find out if there's, and I have not heard any changes about DAPA. So I would have to, if there were any changes, I think I would have heard something come down the pipeline. So I haven't heard anything about DAPA as yet. But the biggest news that we got last week, when I think we were getting ready to do a show Friday evening, it was my other show, Immigration Matters, Lynn, DACA, childhood arrivals, for all those children that were brought into the United States by their family members through no fault of their own. There was a ruling out of New York, out of your state, Lynn, that says they're now accepting new applications for DACA for any child that was brought into the United States. They must have been brought in when they were under the age of 16. So say, for example, I came into the United States or you came in, Lynn, and
right.
It doesn't matter how you came in. So you came in documented or undocumented. You have a visa or you didn't have a visa and you came into the United States, and you still haven't sorted yourself. I don't judge people. A lot of people try to judge people. Oh, you've been here 10 years. You've been here 15 years. Everybody's situation is different. Some people are quick to the draw. They come in, they figure themselves out, and they sort themselves. For some people, it goes a little bit slower for whatever reason. So for most of these children would have been here, came in under the age of 16. And DACA is like a math problem, meaning you were under 16 when you came. When in 2012 this law went in, you would have been under the age of 31. And so you have to do a little screening to make sure you qualify for DACA and that you've continuously resided in the United States since 2007, meaning you've never left, you've never taken a trip, you've never went back home, you've just stayed in the United States since 2007.
So here's my question, Diani. So
yes,
when you file for DACA, what happens then? Would you be able to travel out of the country?
Unfortunately, no. All DACA
is there extended time that they give you, like 4 or 5 years, and then you could file for
No, unfortunately, no. DACA was, and thank you, Mo, it was in 2013 under the Obama administration. Prior to DACA, all these children, once they left high school, they were just in limbo, meaning they had no Social Security, they couldn't work. So DACA, all DACA gives you is a Social Security and work authorization. You don't get a green card. So since 2013, if you were the recipient of DACA, you would have gotten a Social Security number and you would have gotten a green card. And all that would happen, Lynn, is that every 2 years, you renew it. You could go into the military, I think. You could work as a paramedic. You could do all kinds of jobs. There is no green card at the end waiting for you. So it's not like you renew your application for 5 years, 5 times. And then you say, oh, now I apply for my green card. DACA is just that. It's just a little circle. It keeps spinning. It keeps spinning. It was like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound.
Right.
The bleeding continues, but at least, Lynn, you can work. You can buy a little house if you want to. You can buy a
Right.
car because you have a social security number. You have a work authorization, and you have you get a social security card and you get a work authorization. You
But I
cannot
think
travel.
I really think they should, at one point they should just, give them something to travel. I mean, some kids, they would love to travel when they get older.
I agree.
You
You
know?
have kids that came in here as 3 and 4. Lynn, they've never left the country.
It's hard. That's hard.
Never, ever left. And mind you, it's not like these kids came in here through any fault of their own. It's like you bring a 6-month-old baby. They don't know where you're bringing them to. They have no
Right.
idea, Lynn. It's just that they know they were brought into this country and they went to high school, but they knew most of my DACA, I have a lot of DACA clients, and most of them knew something was off because their family never went anywhere. They know that when they wanted to do certain things, they just couldn't because they've never seen a document. Because remember, if you come here illegally, you can go to high school. But the kids, they'll tell me they never remember seeing like a social security card, or they don't remember, they couldn't get a driver's license and they didn't know what was going on. So that's kind of where we are with DACA. For everybody, schedule an appointment with an attorney because they have to do a little bit of screening. I've been doing a lot of screening this week because people are excited and they want to know, because remember, since 2017, President Trump had stopped all applications. So since 2017, nobody could apply. So now this is new because he was trying to end this program altogether.
Just because Obama did it, right?
Just because it was under the Obama administration, yes.
Sad.
So sad. So that's what we have for DACA. Lynn, I know you had some questions that came in that you wanted to talk about. I don't know if anybody have any questions about DACA. If you have a child, if you know a child anywhere, it doesn't matter what country they're from. You must know maybe the child is in church and you notice the child, and this person can be an adult now, They could be 28 now, 29. It doesn't matter.
So what's oldest? The oldest to file for DACA.
The age doesn't matter so long as they were under 16 when they were brought into the country, and that they were under 31 in July of 2012.
Got it. Mavis said we had to wait outside in line for the 125 appointment. When inside, I couldn't sit with her because of the social distancing, so we went to the 4th floor and I went to the 6th floor, but there weren't any place to sit, like a waiting room. So I went outside ice shopping. Mavis, I hope you bought something for Deanie and I, right? I really hope you did.
Yeah, and that's why,
so you went ice shopping.
And that's why I encourage people not to take anyone with them on these interviews, because back in the day, you could go with them, sit in the waiting room. Now, most of the seats are marked with X, where you cannot sit. You cannot sit there. So don't take anyone with you to these interviews. I imagine she said 4th and 6th floor. That means Mavis went to Federal Plaza. Once I hear the 4 and the 6. So that's New York. Geraldine says they wait 2 years with renewal in the UK. Yes, the process is different in the UK because at least there is something at the end waiting for them.
Homelin says she's excited for them. I wish they can get the green card at the end. Yeah, I really thought that's what was going to happen after a few years of having, the DACA. I really thought that's what they were going to do.
No, they haven't. And that's what President-elect Biden has said. He said he will be waiting for, he's going to send a bill to the House that will have some kind of carrot at the end for these children. Because there's millions of children in it that came in that are now adults. Some have children themselves. So he said he's going to send a bill. I am hopeful what will happen.
Hey Tamika, so you know what, Diani, you think that we're gonna do the questions here first, and then take questions from the chat, or
We
how will
can
we
do
do it?
both. We can do both
Okay.
if you want. I see Raquel Albert. Do we know how long after an approved visa petition one would have to wait for the visa interview? It depends on your consular post. It really depends how backed up they are. Typically, they say 90 days. I have seen more. I have applications that I've been waiting on forever, considered COVID. But it depends, Raquel. It really depends. And Mo, to your question, the new citizenship quiz is now 120 questions, up from the 100, so long as you submit your application after December 1st. Before December 1st, it's the same old one, and
But
things like that.
do you think it's gonna change when Biden gets in, that he's gonna reverse that citizenship questions?
He's going to have a lot of work to, he's going to have a lot of things to review. I don't think, see, if I had a wish list for him, changing this from 120 to 100 would not be on my wish list. I have bigger things on my wish list. Like, I want him to lift some of those travel bans. I want him to make a pathway for these children. So if I had a wish list, moving the quiz from 120 back to 100 would be on the bottom of that list.
Right.
I want him to take away the travel ban off of Nigeria. I want him to take the travel ban off of those Muslim majority countries. So my wish list would look a little bit different.
Mm.
Does that make sense? And I'm not being unfair. I'm saying this man, President Trump, under his administration, Lynn, made over 400 executive orders as it pertains to immigration.
Well, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And it's only in 4 years. A Waleep. Is Waleep.
That's a lot. He really didn't want the black folks in, right?
He didn't want the darker. No, and most of these policies were affected with the darker shade countries. Let's be honest, right? So if I had a wish list for him, let us start from the top. Open up those J1s so our students can come back into the country during the summer and study and work to pay their tuition back home, right? Lift some of those bans, lift some of the restrictions for the employment visas, open Nigeria and all those countries, open those places. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's I think that would be great.
Lift the bans, man. And then, the next thing on the list would be, all right, move the question from 120. Because all you have to pass, quite frankly, you just have to get 12 correct. So out of a possible 120 questions, you have to get 12.
Sheila asked, how long does it take to renew a green card?
It all depends. I'm going to say a very long time, about 1.5 years. My question to Sheila would be, why are you renewing and not filing for naturalization? So Sheila, once you submit your application to renew your green card, you can start tracking the processing time. I've seen upwards of 12 to 14 months, excuse me. However, once you submit, you can go to the service and they'll stamp your passport with your physical green card. They just put a stamp in your passport and you can use that to travel and use that as a green card. Does that make sense, Sheila? I hope it does. Just click and say, yes, it makes sense. But yeah.
I think there's another question from Candy Francis. What forms do you need to file for adjustment through a spouse? Do these forms get sent to the same place, and what needs to go with it?
All right, Candy, so adjustment of status is changing your status here in the United States. And so long as the spouse is in the United States, there's a whole bunch of forms. I call it the battle of the forms because there's so many. I want you to go to my website, Winter Law Practice. I have videos on adjustment of status. I also have, I think it's like a 3-part series, but it's not just the 485, which is the adjustment. It's the 485 plus the 765 plus the I-944 plus the I-131 plus the 130A. I don't know what else I'm missing. So am I giving you a sense of idea how technical this is? It's a lot of forms because you're applying for the work authorization as well. In that, if you already have an approved I-130, then that's cool. If you don't, then you can submit everything together if you are a U.S. citizen. So, yeah, it's a very complicated matter because of all the forms that have to go with that application. But if you go to my website, I have videos on it. It's a 3-part series where I talk fully about adjustment of status. Or you can just make a consultation with me and we'll talk about what you need to do.
Oh yeah. You could give them put up your number, Diani.
Hold on, let me put I'll just put how you can make
I think Mo is there, so just
or Mo will put it up for me on
yeah.
how to thanks Mo, we appreciate you. So you can do, thanks Mo, I appreciate you all.
There it is.
All right.
And it's what's your phone number? What's the number they could call?
813 815 3529. 813 815 3529.
Great, perfect.
All right.
So I have a question here. How can you go about obtaining a humanitarian visa? For instance, to help a close relative bury their immediate family.
All right. So I'm assuming the person is outside of the United States and they're thinking they want to come in to attend a funeral. Is that what it is? It sounds like.
Seems like it. That's what
seems like it. All right.
Yeah.
So in that case, you would not be eligible for a humanitarian visa. Humanitarian visa means something is going on. Like most people don't think about it, but asylum is a humanitarian visa. Then a U visa is a humanitarian visa. So you would not need a humanitarian visa to come into the United States in order to attend a funeral. So when you go to do your application, you would apply for a visitor's visa, a B1 or a B2 visa. That's the visa you would need, not so much a humanitarian. Humanitarian means for certain reasons, asylum, refugee, the U categories of visa means something is going on. When you think of humanitarian, you're thinking of something that tugs at your heartstring. So meaning, for example, I think we had, I wouldn't even use that as a humanitarian category. To attend a funeral, I wouldn't call that a humanitarian reason. I'm going to call that a purpose. So when you go to apply for your visitor's visa and they ask you, Miss Lynn, why do you want to go to the United States? You say, oh, to attend my grandmother's funeral.
Ah.
And that is the reason. You will still have to show, Lynn, all the other requirements, the ties. You have to show why. Like, I'm going to come back home. I have a piece of land. I have a job. Here's my job letter saying I'm on vacation. You got to show the title to the car. So you still have to show everything. I always say, even bring a copy of the funeral arrangement, like, the little program for the funeral. Bring proof that you're actually coming for a funeral. So you don't need a humanitarian visa per se, but you need to just have a reason to apply for a visitor's visa.
So you must have the death certificate also.
I think that proves a lot, doesn't it? Like, look, the person dead. Right? You just don't go up there and say, "Oh, I want this because I'm going to my brother's funeral, knock on wood," and then you don't have any proof that your brother indeed passed.
Right. So my next question is another question that came in. My divorce will be officially done by March 2021. Is it okay for me to apply for my citizenship now or wait until my divorce is finalized?
So it all depends. If you're applying for your naturalization based on your marriage, then the divorce is going to put a crunk in that. As you recall, whenever we talk about naturalization, we talk about 5 and 3. 5 years if you're applying for yourself, 3 years if you're applying based on the marriage. So you're married to a United States citizen, the marriage is going well, you can apply for naturalization in 3 years. You do not have to wait 5. Myself, I applied for naturalization based on the fact that I had my green card for 5 years. So I had to wait 5 years because there's no marriage. My mother filed for me. So keep in mind, if that naturalization application is based on the marriage and you're getting a divorce, then it's going to put a little wrench in that. But if you're doing it based solely on you, on having your green card for 5 years, then it doesn't matter if you get a divorce or not.
Got it. Okay, so we have a question here from Sharon Phillip.
Mhm.
She said, if you are coming to get married, what if you're coming to get married, what should I do?
All right. So first of all, if you have a visa and you just want to come into the country to get married, that's fine. You have to be careful, Sharon, because the US consular does not want people to come into the United States to get married, stay here, and adjust. So if you're just saying, look, I'm having my wedding in the United States, that's a different story. So if you have a visitor's visa and you solely just want to come in to get married, you and your husband, he lives in Trinidad, you live in Trinidad, you want your wedding, you want to get married in Central Park, sure. If you have met a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or something, and you're coming here to get married to stay, the service calls that non-immigrant intent, and they don't like it. They do not like it at all, because they know they don't want you to do that. They don't want you to just come in, meet somebody, and then get married. In fact, they want you to wait 90 days. If you come into the country, like you come in and say, look, I'm going to Disney World, and I was walking in Disney and I meet this handsome man and we fall in love, then that's a different story than you leaving your home country to come straight into the United States to get married. Two different things, right? They don't like that at all.
Funde, can I just do a Aretha Franklin thing? Just swap my hair,
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah,
It's too much in my face, you know.
I'll do a Jada Pinkett. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. For you, for those of you that are joining us, me and Lynn, girls are running the world today on Immigration Now. Junior is off, and so we're hosting.
No, Junior is fired today.
All right, Junior. Well, me not have that the power. Me can't fire the boss, man. So
I fired the boss today. That's why I'm here. He's fired today.
Listen, I'm an employee, so. Yeah, but if you're just joining us, we thank you for joining us. Like and share. We're trying to answer all your questions as it relates to immigration. So we're trying to get to all the questions. Lynn, my host for the day, my co-host, is helping me get to the questions,
guys,
in case I miss them. So even if you have to post your questions twice, go ahead and do so. And remember, you can always reach me. You can always reach me by making
an appointment.
Thank you, because I'm running out of words. You can make an appointment to chat with me. Sometimes you don't want to talk about your private business here, and we definitely understand. Just say you're calling from the Ridealong show, and I will definitely try to accommodate you if you have some more private question. Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Thank you, Tamika Rogers. The questions are going fast. I think Rachel. They are. Yeah, I'm trying to keep track of the questions. I think Rachel.
I'm trying to keep track of it. So I'm on Geraldine.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. The U.S. is not known for issuing humanitarian visa. Why is that?
So the United States has a limited amount of humanitarian visas, believe it or not. And each president, each administration that comes in either lifts that number, Geraldine, or they lower that number. So it really depends. The humanitarian visas are, according to what the US believes, the immigration system, is that most of them includes a lot of fraud, right? Because remember, you're coming to a port of entry in the case of asylum, and you're saying, look, I am being persecuted. And remember, most times when you are applying for humanitarian visas, a lot of rules don't apply to you. For example, you don't need an affidavit of support. You don't have to show that you'll be financially able to live inside the United States. You don't have to show the government where you'll be living. I don't have to say, I'm going to go live with Lynn and Lynn is going to take care of me. In fact, it's the opposite, where when you're applying for these humanitarian visas, the government in some cases the government will find somewhere to put you, right? The screening is extensive, but when you look at some of the requirements, it just doesn't apply to you. There are lots of waivers in place for you. So it's not that they're not known to give out a lot. It's that they're known to shrink the amount that they will give out. Miss Lynn? I think you froze.
Got it. So, Michelle said, I have a question. Is a law in effect that you can put in a new DACA? I did.
That Yeah, you're freezing, and but I can hear the question a little bit. Michelle, effective Monday of this week, you can submit a new application for DACA. That is correct. As you can recall, back in 2017, under President Trump, you were unable to submit a new application. However, starting Monday of this week, I forgot what date is this. I'll ask what date was Monday. Starting Monday of this week, Michelle, you are able to submit a new application for DACA if you qualify. All right. So keep that in mind. You must have come into the country when you were under 16. You must have been under 31 back in June of 2012, and you must have continuously resided in the United States since 2007. So the answer is yes. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services is accepting applications for DACA. And if I sound excited, it is because I am. Thank you, Anthony Barrett. Lynn, you there? All right, we're still losing Lynn a little bit, so I'm gonna keep searching for. All right, thanks, Mo. So it's since Monday, December 7th, to file new applications for DACA. So that's kind of where we are. Let me go back up and see. In the meantime, I know Lynn is having a little bit of issues. If you have posted a question that I did not get to, I do apologize. Please repost. Lynn was keeping track of my questions, and she's back. So we'll find out what the next question is from Lynn. But if you haven't gotten your question answered yet, go ahead and repost so we can make sure we get them answered on our show tonight. Go ahead, Lynn.
Can you see? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we can see a Lynn loud and clear. The here. I mean, I think the people in London can see you.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Even those in London can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I think for my Christmas, I think for Christmas I need a new. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's.
All right, I'll keep reading the questions when you're coming in broken up. But Mavis Joseph, you can
Jesus,
get.
Okay, so Mavis asked, where can you get the application forms?
So I love.
I'm not sure if this is for DACA
for
or what. She didn't specify, but all she asked is, where can you get the application form?
Okay, so for all application forms as it relates to immigration, you can get the application forms at uscis.gov. And I'll ask Mo to put those up for me. uscis.gov. Never ever pay for immigration forms, okay? Because these forms are on the website, they're free of charge. You should not be paying for them, okay? uscis.gov/forms, and you'll be able to get all the forms as it pertains to immigration. The best time to call me, Mandy, you can either, the easiest way to get in touch with me is simply by making an appointment at winterimmigration.com.
Yeah.
www.winterimmigration.com. You can just make an appointment to chat with me there. It's much easier, so you can just schedule whether you have documents or no documents to review, make the appointment, and we can chat with you there. Thank you, Gail Charles. USCIS.gov, the DACA applications. I love Mo data application. The DACA application forms are also on USCIS.gov. And the neat thing about that website too, guys, is that you can also on that website you'll see the forms and then you'll see instructions, so you can literally print the form, the instructions, and you can work from each other. If so, for some of you, working with an attorney might not, you might not be able to do so now. I always encourage working with a professional, always working with an attorney. But for example, if you're not in a position to do so, no more. I love data better, data application forms. Thanks, Mo, for correcting that. The DACA application forms. You can just literally print the application, print the instructions, and then you read it and just follow it to a T. Especially in the case of DACA, if you have no criminal history, the DACA is very finicky, right? If you've had some kind of criminal history or a DUI or anything like that, DACA starts to get tricky, because the whole idea behind DACA is that you've been a really good person, right? You've been a good person. I think Lynn is back with us, but the whole idea behind DACA is that you've been really, 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 really good. So the moment you have some kind of brush on your criminal history, DUI, then it starts to pose a problem for DACA. So over and beyond the 3 qualifications that I mentioned, if you go to the website, uscis.gov, you will also see that DACA also have the little nuances about arrest. If you've had any kind of arrest or otherwise, it's good if you talk to an attorney. Welcome back, pretty Earlyn. Can we hear her? Can we, I don't think. Hello, Denise. Thank you for watching from Brooklyn. How cold is it out there? Are the Christmas lights up? I'm trying to see if I missed any questions. If I have missed your question, guys, go ahead. Mandy, the best
Well,
time to call me. There she is. She's back again.
can you hear me?
I can.
You can hear me, right?
I can hear it just breaking up a little bit. So I'm kind of going back through to make sure we have not missed any questions. Um, yes, I want to talk about renewing green cards. I don't recommend the only way
There
you.
isn't any. There isn't any. I got all of them.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much. So I just want to go
Can you
back
hear
over.
me
I
now?
can.
So I have another question here. Can I apply for my green card with a previous arrest record but no conviction? Should I mention it on the application form?
Okay, so I
Did
think
you
yeah,
hear
I
my
hear.
question?
Yeah, I hear the question. With questions like this, I always like to ask, because it says, can I apply for my green card? Which means you're in the process of maybe adjusting your status. Any arrest must be disclosed to the service. So it doesn't matter if your arrest was nollie-prossed, meaning they failed to prosecute, or you went through diversion, or you went through some kind of diversionary program, meaning you were arrested, something happened, and you didn't have to. If you were arrested and something happened and you didn't have to go through it, then you would still have to disclose that criminal history. So it doesn't matter if your arrest was simply, for example, driving without a license, right? you still have to disclose that to the service, even if you were placed in diversion and there is no conviction. So a lot of people, for example, if they have one little brushing with the law, sometimes a prosecutor will say, you know what, go into this program, pay these fees, and then we won't convict you. You still have to disclose all of this to immigration, even if your criminal history was expunged, even if you had it vacated, you must disclose all your criminal history to immigration. You have any other question, Lynn? Did we answer any of the questions, or did we answer? All right. So we'll just keep talking. As it pertains to renewing green cards, it's not something that I recommend. I think once you are calling the United States home, you might as well go ahead and apply for naturalization if you have had your green card. Because if you're renewing your green card, it tells me that you've had this green card for more than 10 years. To renew your green card, it takes a year, 14 months. So long as you plan on calling the United States home, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and apply for naturalization. My water is almost finished. All right. So I think I went through most of the questions that we had. It's 6:52. If you have any more questions, go ahead and post those questions. We still have a couple of minutes left. We can keep chatting for a little bit. Just to review, if you are joining us, DACA is back in. DACA was put back in earlier this week on Monday. As of December 7th, you can file a DACA application.
I think so my computer it's really acting up.
All right, Lynn, I can finish up. We have about 8 minutes left. I mean, I wanted to finish with you because you have that pretty red hair, but I can go ahead. If you're hearing me, I can go ahead and finish up if that's all right. I hope Lynn can hear us. Well, like I said, for those of you that are joining us, if you joined us late, DACA has been put back in place. So you can now apply for DACA. The question, I have another question that I'm reading here. I think it says, my dad. All right, the question from the chat, I'm looking at my phone because, thanks, Mo, for putting it up. My dad filed for me, but now he's retired. The immigration officer sent a message asking for his current employment or a written statement of not working, but we already sent all the retirement documents. What is it they're asking for now? Thanks. Melissa, I would say to you, be very, very careful. They're trying to make a decision on whether you're going to become a public charge. As you recall, earlier this year, we saw the public charge doctrine. When you let me tell, this is a warning to everybody. When you have submitted documents to the service, and the service asks you for similar document, your burden, it means they're giving you another opportunity, Melissa, to prove your case. A person in retirement is more than likely making below the federal poverty guidelines because he's retired. He's not getting a full income. If you used an attorney, I would have that attorney review your affidavit of support to make sure your dad's income or his income plus assets is at or above the federal poverty guidelines. If you are to send in the same information again, they're going to deny your case for not being able to prove that you have met the public charge, meaning you have met the burden that when you come into the United States, you are not going to be a public charge. So that is something I would say be very cautious with, because I know you're saying, wait a minute, we sent them everything. They're still asking. They're still asking because they're saying, wait a minute, if dad is retired, how is he going to support you when you come into the country? Remember, anybody who's filing for somebody must show that when they come into the country, they are able to financially provide for that individual. The other way around this, Melissa, is by using a co-sponsor. We've heard that term a lot in the Caribbean community. Lord, me need a co-sponsor. Me need somebody to co-sign for me. That is because when we look at petitioner has not met the financial threshold to be sponsoring somebody. So we come over here and we look at a co-sponsor who can help us to reach that threshold. I hope that makes sense. If not, schedule a consultation with me. Have somebody in our firm, myself or someone in our firm, will review your documents for you to make sure that they're not seeing like a financial hole or lack of you meeting that financial responsibility, and that they deny you for saying you're likely to become a public charge if you come into the country. Hope that answers your questions. We're going to take our last question. Thank you, Geraldine, my cousin, for watching. If your green card expires, Mavis, you can renew it or you can apply for naturalization. It's up to you. And you should never allow your green card. Nobody in the US should allow their green card to expire. All right, next question. What happens when the green card expires? I think I answered that. You can renew it. You should renew it, actually. Or if you think it's time, if you want to go ahead and apply for naturalization, I would highly recommend that. Last question of the evening. What about someone who comes in the US without a visa? Can they get married, and how long does it take to get a green card? It all depends. If you come, and this is generally speaking, this is not legal advice. If an individual comes into the United States without with a visa, so they've had a lawful entry, they can gain adjustment of status, whether it's through employment, whether it's through family-based, whether it's through investment. In the case of marriage, if you marry to a US citizen, that is also a way in which you can obtain your green card, so long as the marriage is done, it's bona fide, and it's done for the right reasons. How long it takes ideally is depending on what state you're in. The processing times vary. For example, in a state like New York, we can see cases taking upwards of 12 months. In a case like Tampa, and no, you cannot move just so your case goes faster. You have to move for a good reason. It can't just be, let me move because Tampa is taking shorter. In a case like Tampa, Florida, I've seen interviews 4 to 6 months. So it just really depends on where your case is, the time frames. But so long as the marriage is bona fide, ideally you can schedule a consultation with me and we can talk a little bit more about what that would look like. It is 6:58 people. Oh my God, I've been talking for an hour. Wow. I hope I got a chance to answer everybody's question. I love Wednesday. I'm looking again here. What happens when someone green card expires? Okay, here's another question. Can a sister with citizenship file for her siblings? Yes. So if, for example, I'm a US citizen, I can file for my siblings. Takes about 10 to 12 years, in some cases longer. So yes, a sister who is a United States citizen or a brother can file for a sibling. Lynn, the red hair, we really want you back on camera, Lynn, even if it's not working. Brett says he applied for a passport renewal in February 2020. Oops, the question went away. I applied for a passport. Thank you. I applied for a passport renewal in February 2020. Will it be ready for pickup now? I have no idea, darling. I don't know where you applied for the passport. Contact them to see what's the status or where it is. Typically, if it's a US passport, it typically doesn't take that long. So I would just do a little bit of follow-up to see what's going on. Remember, March, we went into COVID. I know with passports, sometimes it's 6 weeks. So that is something that I would follow up on. It is 7 p.m., guys. It is 7 p.m. and it's another Wednesday. If you are not following the Ride Along page, we encourage you to do so, because that's where all this information comes in. We're here every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. with Immigration Now. We try to get to all your questions. We try to answer all your questions. But and I think today we did a good job. We got to everything. I want to express my gratitude to everybody for joining us. But we thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funde. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa,